Friends, we are talking and have been talking about what the hogwashers have in store for us in terms of getting us out of our homes, of our rural areas, of our single family homes. I read that in San Diego County, they no longer want to give permits for building single family homes. That builders now, if they want to develop a property, the developers, they have to develop this multifamily housing. And if you've ever driven down, in downtown San Diego or leading up to San Diego, you're going to see row after row after row of the Packham and Stackhams. Many of these buildings are empty. Same thing in Orange County. There are tons of these rabbit hutches that are empty because at least in the state of California, I don't know about your state, there is a law that was passed that these communities are required to have a certain number of these high density, so-called affordable housing units, and they're not even that affordable. Friends, I've got over 500 videos on my YouTube channel. I talk about how to keep your head above the waves in the stormy seas. I talk about how to have the hard conversations with people that don't see things your way. I talk about how to tell the frauds, fakes, and phonies from the real deal when it comes to the truther movement. And lately, we've been talking about what's going on in the weather. And one of the side effects of this weather manipulation is to terrorize people, to get them out of their rural communities and to then push them very forcibly and in an accelerated manner into these Packham and Stackhams and high density housing. I talked about how affordable housing, it's not about bringing the price down, it's about increasing people's income and letting them keep their income instead of the government picking their pocket on every paycheck. And now we're going to see, we saw the 15-minute cities, we saw Elon Musk's snail brook, and I revealed that musk is also a type of a turtle. And what do turtle eats? They eat snails. What do turtles eat? They eat snails. And Musk is going to call his little company town Snail Brook. Draw your own conclusion. I've already drawn mine. I don't care for the fellow. So this is just following along in our trend of talking about, I talked about Trump and his freedom cities that rubbed me the wrong way, and a lot of you as well. Although there are some people that cannot take any criticism of that man whatsoever. And that's sad because they're blinded from critical thinking, from digging deeper. Look, I have no beef with Trump. I have no beef with DeSantis. I have a beef with Newsom for sure. But my goal in bringing you this information is to help you dig deeper and develop your skills of critical thinking. So when we're presented with something called the line, as I'm about to show you here in Saudi Arabia, first of all, I think it's all science fiction. I think it is fake in terms of they're getting money for this development. I don't think it's ever going to happen. Kind of like the high speed trail. Sorry, friends, I'm a little bit lacking I had a really hard day today, so it's a little bit difficult for me to get my words out. I'm not AI. If Biden is AI, as my husband says, AI has a long way to go. Biden is a robot. So I'm just human and get tired from time to time, but I am grateful to be back with you. All right. Talking about Saudi Arabia, the line. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there is a new development called Neom, and that's part of what is troubling to me. So first, I'm going to take you right on over. The word is weird to me. And since I love language and I like to dig deeper, we're going to hop right on over and take a look at this website. And it's coming out of Saudi Arabia. I speak Arabic. I lived in Morocco. Neom is not an Arabic word. It's a made up word. And there are different regions in Saudi Arabia that they want to develop. I will leave you a link here. It's neom.com. And they're asking for investors. So I think it's kind of just a scam, basically, to get people, to give them money. And this is what it looks like. Here's how far they've gotten so far. We call ourselves dreamers and doers. We cannot make happen, we can make happen not just what is possible, but what is impossible. Neom is a unique investment opportunity unrivaled anywhere else. It is all about sustainable development, save the planet, get people, living at all the same level, and of course, zero emissions. So I'm going to be unplugging my audio so you can hear this video. And it's a little under 2 minutes, and it's about one of their development projects called The Line. And after we look at The Line, then I want to break down this word Neom and why it's rubbing me the wrong way. And then I want to connect the clots, so to speak, because I think they're all in on everything that's going on, the decimation of our society and the hampering of people's movement and so forth, because the end game is they want to control your movement. They want you, just like with the shutdowns that they imposed upon everyone, they want to condition people to remaining like cattle and to being herded where they want you to be. So there's more control. So that's the end game. When they are burning people out of house and home, when they're freezing people out of house and home, when they're making it so difficult to live in these rural areas, they want people to be in these pack 'em and stack 'em. So you ain't seen nothing yet. Let me get this queued up for you. And this is actually on YouTube, and it's called The Line. And so let me grab that for you, and I'll share my screen. Let me know if you've heard of this.
For too long, humanity has existed within dysfunctional and polluted cities that ignore nature. Now, a revolution in civilization is taking place. Imagine a traditional city and consolidating its footprint, designing to protect and enhance nature. The Line will be home to 9 million residents and will be built with a footprint of just 34 square kilometers. And we are designing it to provide a healthier, more sustainable quality of life. The Line's communities are organized in 3 dimensions. Residents have access to all their daily needs within 5-minute walk neighborhoods. And the Line's infrastructure makes it possible to travel end to end in 20 minutes with no need for cars, resulting in 0 carbon emissions. By leveraging AI technology, services are autonomous, saving you time and effort. Designed by world-leading architects, the Line is 500 meters tall, 200 meters wide, 170 kilometers long, and housed within an elegant mirrored glass facade. Intelligent solutions create efficiency and year-round temperate microclimate with natural ventilation. Energy and water supplies are 100% renewable. The Line is designed as a series of unique communities, offering a wealth of amenities, providing equitable views and immediate access to the surrounding nature. With 40% of the world accessible within 6 hours, at the heart of the globe's key trade routes, a place for commerce and communities to thrive like nothing on earth seen before. The Line, the city that delivers new wonders for the world.
All righty, how do you like them apples? Yes, before we dive in and analyze but actually, let's dive in and analyze, and we're going to talk about this word Neom and why it troubles me. Okay. What do you think about that, friends? Living in let's see, I brought up the stats here as well, and I converted it. So the Line, okay, there are no roads, 9 million people. That's basically Los Angeles, all right? County of Los Angeles has about 10 million people. They're telling you that you will be in a 5-minute city. So it's basically like a prison. Not only are you not going to go 15 minutes to do everything, you're going to go 5 minutes. And as a matter of fact, they showed the drones and things delivering. It said autonomous delivery of goods and services. That means you don't go shopping. There are no stores. It's kind of like Amazon.com on steroids, or wherever else you shop online. So you don't need to go see people. There's no reason for you to leave or to go anywhere. They've been conditioning us to do all of our medical care on, virtual, which probably there's some good to that in terms of, I'm not in favor of the mainstream medical merry-go-round, but so much of what is done now is done virtually and not face-to-face. That further denigrates and really destroys the fabric of our lives, because we are meant to be in community with each other. We're meant to see people, to feel them, to smell them, to hear them, to sense them. I mean, you get such a better sense of what's going on when you're in person with someone. So the fact that they're going to separate people and you're not going to be going any more than 5 minutes away to get anything done, things are going to be coming to you. It's basically a prison. So 500 meters high, my calculations are 165 feet. 200 meters wide, that's like a quarter of a mile. That's very, very narrow. That's like from here to the end of the block, okay? Talk about claustrophobic. It's rabbit hutches on steroids. And then 170 kilometers long is just a little bit more than 100 miles. So they also say, I just took a couple of notes, that it will be zero emissions because there will be no cars. So the zero emissions myth, I did a video on that. The energy comes from somewhere. Oh, it didn't show it in this video, but in one of the longer videos on Neom, everything is going to be powered by wind and solar. And making wind-powered electric generators and solar panels takes energy, and energy comes mainly from coal and gas. I mean, it does not, and oil. It does not come from other solar panels. It was so funny. Somebody said, if you drive an electric car, you should only be able to fuel up at stations that are run on solar and wind power. I mean, come on, you need to be consistent here. So the other thing in the very beginning, it said, this city is designed, are you ready, to protect and enhance nature, as if nature is more important than human beings. If you believe the creation story as I do, as told in the Bible, God created the planet and everything that mankind needed, including animals. He prepared the planet with renewable resources, because water is a renewable resource. Oil is a renewable resource. So he created the planet with everything we need. And although there are people that pollute and waste, I'm not in favor of waste or pollution or any of that. But the idea that God's creation is going to be marred by mankind, like, I don't buy it, okay? So this city is going to enhance and protect nature. There was a weird thing I saw in San Clemente recently on the side of a building of a surf shop, and it said, we need to protect our fragile ocean. Fragile ocean? Have you ever been surfing with 10-foot waves? Friends, the ocean is a lot of things. It ain't fragile. It's a killer, okay? People die in the ocean. They die on boats and all of that. The ocean is not fragile. That's another one of that gaslighting techniques where they're trying to put together the words that don't make sense. Not only do they not make sense, but your own mind is trying to make sense of it. And while it's doing that and figuring it out, you're more easily manipulated and swayed, which is why the hogwashers used phrases such as, you need to stay home alone together. Well, you can't be alone and together. And, stay home and save lives and all of this kind of stuff. It was designed for the thinking part of your brain to be hijacked. So fragile ocean, sustainable lifestyle, it doesn't even make any sense at all. I don't think this is ever going to happen. I think it is sci-fi. I think that the group itself is probably some kind of shell front to launder money from investors. I mean, come on. None of this seems remotely possible. If they do get it going, it sounds like hell on earth, all right? That you are basically in this claustrophobic tunnel with mirror on the outside, which is also weird. Like, the whole thing to me just is very, very distasteful. It's the other thing is you have no seasons. Now, even in California, and any Californians can back me up on this, well, not when it's being manipulated by the hogwashers, but in the old days, like when I was a child, I knew when fall hit because there was a smell in the air and the leaves turned. And I knew that it was fall, even though it's not the traditional New England fall, what have you. And we actually have a winter in California, even though it's not like a Montana winter, although this winter certainly was because of all the manipulation. But there were 4 seasons in California. Now, I know probably in Hawaii and Florida, people that live there, they will also tell you that they can sense the change in the seasons, even though it's mild and might not be noticeable to somebody who's not from that area. What bothers me about this is there would be no seasons. It would be exactly the same every day because you're in this climate controlled line, basically a prison. So I don't think it's actually going to happen. I think they're trying to get money and maybe divert our attention to look at something like this. Maybe some people really like the idea. Maybe in 100 years, 500 years, it will happen, but I don't like anything about it. And I certainly don't like this name Neom. It's difficult to pronounce. It's not an Arabic word. It's a made up word. And when I did a little digging, let me show you what I came up with here. I just did, it made me think of a couple of other things. Thanks for being on board, everybody. Make sure you are subscribed. It says Neom is established as a closed joint stock company. It started in 2019, fully owned by the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia. It's a new destination being created in the northwest of Saudi Arabia, based along the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aqaba at the intersection of Asia, Europe, and Africa. It's an 8-hour flight from 70% of the global population. Here we are. The name Neom is derived from the ancient Greek prefix neo, meaning new. Okay, I'll buy that. The fourth letter is from the abbreviation of mustaqbal, which is an Arabic word meaning future. As the name suggests, it will be the land of the future, where the best ideas, most promising startups, established companies, future industries, and best talents are joined to create solutions for the challenges facing humanity. All right, I want to connect the clots for you a little bit more, because this is just how my mind works. And maybe I'm going far afield and there's nothing and I'm reading into it. It's weird if they've got the word new future. Isn't future new just because it's the future? It hasn't happened yet. So they're saying that they're calling this company Neom. Put me in mind of this weight loss company called Neom. And let me take you on over there, because this was weird to me when it first came on the scene a few years ago. Let me know if you follow this company, if you do their weight loss plan. Here we go. Neom, a healthier you wherever you are. So it's some type of diet and nutrition coaching app or something. But I remember when it came out and I thought, that's such a weird name, Neom. It doesn't feel like fresh and exciting and healthy and uplifting and encouraging and inspiring. It's like clothes, like Neom. It's the exact opposite of what I would think healthy living would be all about. So it was weird to me. And I thought, why in the world did they name this company Neom? And I did a little bit of digging, and you probably aren't going to be surprised. Neom is a subscription-based app for tracking a person's food intake and exercise habits. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. And it says Neom is not an acronym for anything. According to the founder, Neom is moon spelled backwards, because the moon is always there for you as a quiet guide when you are lost. That's bizarre. The moon is there for you as a quiet guide, like lost in life, or like when you're hiking at night. So the founder called this company Neom because it's moon backwards. So I believe that this company that tracks your exercise and eating habits, oh yes, we all love tracking, right? It probably is going to be used for our social credit score. How much did you exercise? Did you eat too much? I never will do any tracking of anything on an app other than I know that my phone app knows where I drive when I put in my maps. I really want to go back to paper maps. And just as a quick aside, I was typing in somewhere that I had to go, and it said, usually it will say, do you want toll roads? This is the fastest route. This route has fewer turns, right? It offers those things. Now it offers fuel efficient. This is the most fuel efficient route. So I'm thinking, if I don't choose the most fuel efficient route, somewhere along the line, I'm going to be get demerits for that, because I won't be, socially acceptable. I'll get my social credit demerits for not choosing the most eco-friendly route. So friends, that is one way that they track us, obviously through our cell phone, but I'm not going to be tracking my exercise habits and my eating habits. I never liked that with the Apple Watch that people were doing and the Fitbit and all of that. It's like, why would I give that information over to some unknown party? Whether this Neom was started by somebody that just thought it was a great app, or whether it's actually a front for the government. And the reason I say that is because they are using the word moon backwards. And you probably already know how I feel about men on the moon. Yeah, right. That's why we've been back every year since. So the fact that they're calling it Neom, it's again like Neom, moon. I know it just bothered me. The other thing that bothers me is, and I'm recording on Zoom right now, and I'm like, okay, what's with Zoom? Does it mean that it's speedy and that these recordings are quick? Why is it even called Zoom? And why is it called Zillow with a Z? And why is it called a House, Houzz? So I'm like, what is with these Z? This is just how my mind works, all right? What is with all of these Z's? So I did a little more digging on the Z. So Neom took me to Zoom, took me to Zillow, took me to House, took me to what in the world is going on with Z's. So it says that in 300 BC, the Roman censor Appius Claudius removed Z from the alphabet. And it said that that letter was useless. Okay, what else did I find out about Z? Okay, here we go. All right. The name of the letter Z in the alphabet probably comes from the Old French Z, which is why in England, they call the letter Z, Z. Coming from the late Latin zeta, from the Hebrew, are you ready? Zayin, meaning weapon. Weapon, weapon. So the letter Z has the root meaning of weapon. And I just think it's very interesting that we have Zillow and Zoom and Houzz, Houzz, which is another online website where you can find things about home decor or whatever. And I just think it's very interesting. Maybe I'm completely reading into it. Maybe it's just a memorable word. Let me know if there are other Z letters that I'm missing or other Z names. And I would be interested in hearing your thoughts. All right, friends, this was a little bit of a Connect the Clots video, but I wanted to bring to your attention this very crazy idea of the line,